Democracy is deeply at risk today in ways that in my lifetime I've never seen quite so much threat to the fundamentals of our republic and to our democracy. And I think one of the only potential backstops or safety nets we have in our democracy is our public education system.
I think it's really important that citizens of this country understand how our democracy works. If young people don't feel like they have a stake in it and they don't understand how they themselves right now as a 16-year-old or 17-year-old can affect change, even before they can vote, then we've lost something there.
Our democracy requires an educated populace. Civics needs to be at the core of what school is. It's not an afterthought. It doesn't come after career and college and then citizenship. It should be the very first thing we think about when educating children in a democracy.
The extra credits, if you did not complete it, I will take it by end of day today.
We have 3 goals for the Democracy Prep students in regards to our civics education program. We want them to study current events. They can't impact the world without knowing about the world. We want them to also be articulate public speakers so that they can impact change when they're in college and beyond. And then we also want them to be able to influence complex social and political structures, such as how do you have a protest, how do you file a petition, when they are both in school and beyond.
We wrote the Change the World project into the original charter as the capstone for the high school experience, really for the whole K-12 experience. And the idea of the Change the World project was building a project of the students' own design that they then had to actually carry out.
We try to bring civics education in the full continuum, K through 12. Like for kindergartners, they're already talking about what it means to be members of a community and what it means to work together and to collaborate with each other. So I think what makes us special and serve as a model to others is that we really embrace civics as a core part of our soul and who we are.
The seminar in American Democracy class is like excellent preparation for us to become better citizens in the future.
So basically in American democracy, there's a main topic that's trending in the news, and then we assign for homework, we read articles about it, then we have a week span to write what we feel, and then on Fridays, because it's every Friday, we come and we discuss about it, a seminar. And recently we talked about abortion and the different stances of it. And everybody had a different perspective, but one thing DP teaches is to be respectful, because not everybody's going to have the same opinion as you.
I feel like this class is a great way to ensure that us as minorities are able to get heard regardless of our socioeconomic status.
We work in what are typically disenfranchised communities, communities that have low voter rates. They are communities that have not often seen themselves reflected in local political offices or other positions of power. By allowing the students at Democracy Prep to have a voice in what's going on at their school, we're showing them that it works first here in our community, and then you can actually do this on a different level. Whether when you're in college you're running for student leadership, whether you decide after college to run for, it could be your real estate board, it could be the governor of your state.
It makes me think about the bigger picture in terms of how do I contribute to society? How can I live my life? How could I be the outlier instead of just complying to this bigger system?
At places like Democracy Prep, we actually have students testify in front of the United States House of Representatives. We have real students testify at the New York State Senate and New York State Assembly.
I went to speak to politicians about veterans not receiving the benefits that they deserve after their time in war.
It's not faux. It's not prom colors and complaining about food. It's real issues.
We have to have a core foundational civics curriculum, but we also have to really stoke investment in change in this country and in this world and how it can happen. And so one really important thing we instituted at all Democracy Prep high schools is a course called Sociology of Change during the senior year.
And then that leads into the Change the World project, where they connect ideas together.
My project is basically going to be a panel where I discuss the process of food safety and how it can affect people. 48 million people every year get food poisoning, and out of that, 3,000 or so, they die.
Most contamination tends to begin when people aren't washing their hands properly, especially if the food is very clean before it.
The Change the World project asks the students to actually think about something that they are passionate about, a societal ill that they might see in their community, and figure out What can I do to resolve that, to impact change for that?
The project that I've decided to do for my Change the World project revolves around the idea of the foster system, the foster care system. We as a country don't really focus that much on the kids that are pushed away from their families because of many different reasons. So my project is I made a short film in hopes to educate people about the stereotypes that don't necessarily classify the foster care community.
You're failing my class, and you're failing every class you currently take. What's going on?
Try again, Keon, you rushed through it.
I just want people to be informed on the emotions and the things that a lot of those foster care kids go through and how you contributing your family and your life to a child can really save their life.
Okay, now can you guys walk back again and then walk forward again so I can see if it looks good?
In my opinion, I think people can always sit down and tell you the foster care system isn't as good as it could be. But I want to show you that the foster care system isn't as good as it could be, because I feel like when you attack people's emotional sense, that's when they hang on to things a bit better. Like, I can give you the statistics and you'll feel bad about it, but if I show you them, you'll remember them.
Release. Good job.
I think that the Change the World project is really good because it is important for students, especially this generation, to really get involved with what's happening, what's going on in the world. And I find that they're a lot more involved than we were, than my generation. They're more involved making changes. They want change now.
It is so important that we have this program at Democracy Prep. Just letting our students know that they have their voice and help them figure out how they can use their voice in an appropriate way, and also a way that's going to be like productive for the issue that they care about and for our society as a whole.
We've developed this ethos of it is your job to push back and resist when you think something is unjust through the channels that are available to you. And so I think we've developed that ethos, and the school is a microcosm of society. And so I think we're a really, really useful model to other schools with different demographics in different parts of the country, that it can be done and it should be done. That's sort of our moral imperative, to make sure that it is done.
You can genuinely feel that the teachers care. They care about you passing, they care about you doing something larger than yourself in the future, and they definitely care about how we feel about certain situations, because it's teaching us advocacy at such a young age. So once we get into college or the real world, we won't be afraid to advocate for ourselves.
We started with 100 students on that third floor in that school at PS 92 in Central Harlem. And as they grow through the grades and as the geographic expansion increases, you're going to now see not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands of alumni who are persisting in four-year colleges, and that to me is super exciting.
DP really pushes you to be the better version of yourself.
I was thrilled with the results of the mathematical policy study because it did show, in the most rigorous of scientific method over a 10-year longitudinal random control trial, that Democracy Prep students and alumni participated in our democracy dramatically higher than those students who applied to attend the school but didn't attend. I was also thrilled that the gains were statistically significant and that they were, on any academic measure, off the charts.
I think what I'm really excited about at Democracy Prep now is that students are choosing to sort of engage in civics and in activism on their college campuses and beyond. So they're becoming change agents and civic agents well into their lives, and that's been really, really amazing.